You read the things about Ilhan Omar and about, who she married and whether she didn't marry this person or that person. It certainly seems like something fishy is there, but everybody's entitled to equal justice under the laws. So we're going to investigate it. We're going to take a look at it. If we think that there's a crime, we're going to prosecute that crime. And that's something the Department of Justice is looking at right now.
That's Vice President JD Vance seemingly confirming a DOJ investigation into proud Somali Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar. The announcement by Vance comes weeks after Omar amended her financial disclosures, sharply reducing the reported value of her net worth. Her original disclosure listed companies co-owned by her husband as between 6 and 30 million big ones. Now, the amended filings list their joint assets as ranging between $18,000 and $95,000, small ones. Omar's camp had blamed the discrepancy on an accounting error. Alex.
Tim, it was me.
Alex, you're a lawyer. You're not an accountant.
No.
But does this hold up in court? It was the accountant's fault.
No,
Okay.
they always teach you in law school, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And I don't know, look, I had to have a tutor all throughout math in high school.
Me too.
I am not good at math.
Although there's also that intent to commit a,
There's intent requirement in some laws. That's true, but I think you can still be fined or penalized for incorrect disclosures. That's part of.
And a lot of people do amend their filings,
yeah,
but
and
not
the thing
as
was
high.
Not that extreme.
Yeah, and I think she amended it after she was caught. Like that was a problem.
And you usually amend up, not down. That's usually the case.
And the other thing is I just, going back to my what I was just saying is I'm not good at math, but I don't know if I could be that bad. Like whatever CPA that is might need to go back to their continued legal education or continued mathematical education because they need to brush up.
I just wonder where this is all going to head because, this is a big deal, but is this just something that we're throwing out there and it goes nowhere? I'm really wondering. And it may not just be the DOJ investigating Ilhan Omar, because the House Oversight Committee has decided it's seen enough, calling for the House Ethics Committee to investigate her funds. Now, Mercy, I got to ask you, is this, we were kind of alluding to it, but is this a distraction? Are we focusing too much on Ilhan Omar and not on fraud? I mean, this is a huge opportunity to, shine a light on the $1 trillion plus fraud
seriously,
in D.C.
This is the problem with men. Can you walk and chew gum at the same time?
Well, yes,
Just
but
say yes, then yes.
Okay.
So yes, you can be targeting fraud, and you also have to potentially go after these individuals who might be involved in these fraud cases. As we know, her name was mentioned multiple times in these trial exhibits. We know that it's Amy Bach who's been indicted in this fraud case in Minnesota, and she's actually brought up Ilhan Omar's name, saying that she wouldn't be surprised if she were involved in this because this is one of the programs that Ilhan Omar was basically advocating for.
And on top of Mercy's point, I just have to add, I think it was a New York Post story that highlighted that jailhouse interview. And so she had mentioned, I think it was Amy Bach that you mentioned, 6 email exchanges with Omar or her office. So, there was some notification on the fraud. But the other aspect of that, too, was one of the restaurants was, with part of this program that was fraudulent, made 21,000 meals a day, supposedly. Okay?
I make 21,000 meals a day for my big, large family. I literally cooked 3 meals yesterday.
One of the kickers, though, Mercy, is that same restaurant was a place that Omar would have some of her events at. So it's very interesting that there was, some big fraud taking place and that Omar was still engaged at that location.
I think it's also funny that Vance, there's with Caroline Leavitt out for maternity leave, it's almost like the 2028 audition, where one week it's Marco Rubio at the White House podium, next week it's JD Vance, and then I'm sure maybe there'll be other RFK. I think he probably wants to run again, and so it's funny how the White House is doing this kind of shadow 2028 primary.
Information, truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.